Good morning. My name is Tom Southard and welcome to the fourth of the Fall Fridays. Another beautiful day here at the Arboretum. I refer to it as the gem in the mountains. I'm 100% a volunteer here, but I wear a lot of hats. I'm also on the Society Board of Directors. I lead trail walks here for the last 10 years as a volunteer and have taken many courses in a phenomenal program at the Arboretum called the Blue Ridge Natural Certification Program. You saw Carlton Burke last week, and he is one of the premier instructors in that program. If you want more information, look on the website. But today we're just going to walk. I'm a generalist as a naturalist goes. We're just going to enjoy the beauty, the seasonal changes, whatever we see. Hopefully, you've heard all the science in the last 3 weeks. Now you're going to hear somebody who walks these woods every couple days for the last 10 years. So let's get started. We're on the Carolina Mountain Trail, and I chose this trail today because it does have a lot of topography changes in it, and hopefully our wonderful camera person Will here will not trip, and I hope I won't trip because there are some exposed roots. But so if we go down, it's going to keep rolling. One of the beauties of this whole area, if we just kind of look down the hill, you can just see how the sun sparkles in through the morning sun, and the colors are showing up rather nicely. And this year has not been a spectacularly brilliant color year. I think Carlton Burke explained that last week, but it has been a very subtle, brilliant kind of color year. Things have changed a little quicker than normal. But there's a certain amount of beauty to it. And one of the fun things is, we see the maple trees, and if you take a kind of look at a leaf kind of up close, you can see how it's fading. It's on the ground already, it's faded, it's said goodbye to the mama tree, and is quickly becoming mulch on the forest floor. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, and just not look at the trees, but look at the leaves on the ground, the leaves in the trees, perhaps see what kind of colors they have and how they've changed since the beautiful springtime. Now, as we get farther along the trail, the steepness kind of gets a little. I wouldn't want to try to walk straight down this, but at the bottom, I don't think you can hear it, but you can hear Bent Creek way down at the bottom there. So it's kind of fun as you're walking, you're listening, you're observing, so you're seeing very many different kind of senses. You can smell the fresh air, you can see the beauty in the leaves, you can hear the sound of the creek. So all those come into a sense of place here at the Arboretum. And just to prove we're not at the top of the hill, we still have a way to go to get to the top ridge. But this particular trail is walking a little below the top ridge. If you notice the beauty of looks like a sourwood out there with this reddish yellowish, it's probably just not quite peak, maybe peak, but that's typical colors as it starts to get into late fall. They do hold, I think Carlton mentioned, they do hold their leaves and their color a lot longer than some of the other forest trees. So it's always fun to be able to spot them and admire with the sun on it, the morning sun. It's just a beautiful, beautiful look. Now this section here is a little different because we have some white pine trees growing up in this area here. Probably when it was logged many years ago, these popped up because they do come in fairly quickly after the ground has been disturbed. They grow fast, they grow straight, and just a marvelous tree. It's one of the few trees, if you look at it, you can see where the branches come out in a whirl around the trunk. It signifies a year of growth. So if you started at the bottom and find the nodes and count the nodes and have a very stiff and strong neck, you can figure out about how old this tree would be without having to cut it down or bore into it. Now, while this is not colorful for this time of year, this is a mountain laurel, which is going to maintain its leaves all year long. They do drop leaves as haphazardly, but it's not unusual to find them in a watershed area that's heading toward the water on a side of the hill. They're an acid-loving plant. The rhododendrons, the mountain laurels, the sourwoods, blueberries, and those things are all in the heath family. So they like acid soils. And oftentimes you'll find them all in a similar forest area. As we get down, if we get down there today, you'll see where the rhododendrons come into the water area. Not sure we're going to get there though. Now this is a chestnut oak leaf. Notice the rounded lobes, which puts it in with the white oak, its sister tree here in the mountains. They are one of the two white oak species that are in the Arboretum. And I was looking to see if I could see a big one, but it has to be here somewhere because there's a sprout there. One of the things we haven't seen much this year in the fall, usually you're walking along the woods, and because it is an predominantly oak forest, we're not seeing as many acorns this year, which is not unusual because last year might have been a really good acorn year. They call it mast, and bears and squirrels and blue jays and turkeys all eat that wonderful acorn mast. But after a big mast year, the trees take a break usually. I don't know what the scientific name of that is, but they tend to take a break for a year. So not every year is going to be the best year. Sometimes you can come out here and slip and slide over a lot of the acorns because there's just so many of them. And of course, Carlton talked about last week, and most people have, our understory starting some sassafras. These are, give a nice yellowish tinge on the forest floor. You can see this one hasn't changed, but these are ready to drop down. They get a little hint of red in the leaves too, so that's kind of pretty depending on how much sun they're getting or not. So it's pretty nice thing to see. I think Carlton told you about the or maybe it was Kat who said something about sarsaparilla root beer coming from that until it was replaced by artificial sweeteners. But also, for those who don't know, if you've ever gone down to New Orleans and eaten filet gumbo, filet is the dried sassafras leaf. It's a thickener and a flavoring in the gumbos. So if you see one on the shelf and you want to experiment a little bit, let's try to find some of those. And we have some seeds and things from a goldenrod that they were yellow a couple weeks ago. Now the seed has been there, they've been pollinated, and they're just getting ready to fluff off. So it's kind of a sure sign that fall is winding way down. So you can see some more here. And we have the Tula poplar leaf, just getting ready to change. These are another tree that comes in when there's been a disturbance very quickly. They grow fast, just like the white pines. The white pine and them compete with each other early on in the early successional stages of the forest. But it's looks like kind of like a tulip, well named. But it's actually, as Carlton mentioned, it's in the magnolia family. Some of the cool things you have to do is look down a little bit and see what might be on the ground this time of year. And so we've had a lot of rain this year. You're getting a lot of nice, lush mosses. I call that one a pincushion moss, but I'm sure the professionals can tell me much difference. Next to it, you've got a Christmas fern. It stays evergreen all winter long and get new leaves next year. And on the back of it, I'm not sure you can see it, but those are the spores of its reproductive system on the back of the leaves. I'm not sure you can really get a good look at that. Yep. And also back here, this looks to me like one of our native orchids. I'm not sure, but this would tell me probably this is the seed pod of it. I think that's called a rattlesnake plantain. I'm not an expert, but I think that's what Scott Dean, one of our friendly educators, has told me, but I think that's probably what that is. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Now, I mentioned before we're getting very close to it looks like a water source down here. There's a lot of rhododendrons, and they love to be near water, usually toward the bottom of a hill in this area because that's where the water flows. So it's a whole thicket of it. They call them just a rhododendron expletive if you go through them. So we're coming into this little body of water, but first I think we need to look up. The sun's on the trees up there. You've got a sourwood in the front, although the sun's not on it, so you really can't see the brilliant color of it, but it really gets a good idea of you know, where there's an opening, there's actually a road up there, but on the opening on the other side is where you get to see some really nice color this time of the morning. So a little darker in the woods here, but it is beautiful up there, and as pan around, you're just going to see the yellows. You're going to see some more reds back here, reds, oranges, just a spectacular little section of the woods here. One of the things I like about fall, of all times of year, but I'm a water kind of guy. I teach an aquatic habitat course here in the Blue Ridge program. But if you look down, look at the color from the stream coming down here, and then it kind of goes underground. But look at the leaves. The fall leaves just give really a wonderful picture. You could paint that. You can't get it any prettier than that in the fall. Just absolutely gorgeous. You have a sourwood here. You have looks like a white oak going into turning brownish orange in the leaves. So in the sun on the top, boy, what a pretty sight. I don't know if you're picking up the sounds of the birds, but there's a lot of them out this morning. I can hear some tufted titmice up the hillside, and I've heard some nuthatches. So I'm not sure the mic's picking it up, but we'll another thing to listen for when you come out in the woods. Boy, what a gorgeous day. Well, I see our time is almost up today, but this area here has a really nice understory of growth. So at one point in time recently, there's probably been some blowdown of trees or something that caused it to open up more and more stuff to start growing in here. So it's much thicker here. If you kind of take a look back too as we finish up, the sourwoods in back of us, just absolutely gorgeous. Blue sky, we call that the Carolina blue sky. Just a picture perfect fall day here at the Arboretum. So I just want to end here. This is just one small section of the Carolina Mountain Trail. When you get back out at the Arboretum in the woods, you can do the whole section and all those trails that move together. There's so much to see all year long, the fall, spring, all that. For those who are familiar with the Arboretum, in a normal year, we have 7 or 8 volunteer trail guides that have guided walks on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Free, open to the public, any guest who comes in. But all 4 seasons pretty much. And maybe we'll do one of these in the wintertime. I'm lobbying for that. So have a great day. Thanks for visiting. Come on out when you feel comfortable coming out and just enjoy nature wherever you can.